Hello, folks. This is Miguel from Embargo Man. So today, what we're gonna talk about? We're talking about is about Jim Carrey as Freddy Krueger, right? So ever since Halloween, I mean, I see one of my favorite horror films is the Nightmare on Elm Street series, right? So I mean, James Earl Hurley in the 2010 version, he did play Freddy Krueger very well, but is not as known as Robert Englund, right? So since the 2010 remake, they haven't have got any sequel. So I see the original from 1984, even yeah, as they say about the original from 1984, said it is the best Freddy Krueger in the series, all the way up to Jason versus Freddy in the all new Nightmare. Like there were Nightmare on Elm Street, Freddy's Revenge, and Freddy's Revenge and Dream Child, Dream Warriors, Dream Masters, Dream Childs, and Freddy's Dead. And there's one called Freddy versus Jason, right? So I mean, the guy who plays the 2010 Freddy Krueger, I mean, that was said about this movie, and then is say they say they got poor reviews and stuff, but then I mean, it was awesome. It's the same plot. I mean, the only difference it is from the whoever played, because I'm gonna tell you about Nightmare on Elm Street 2010. Is that Jackie Earl Haley played Freddy Krueger. So I mean, most possibility John Saxon played Donald Thompson, and most likely they might be talking about another reboot. I mean, the best person to have the Nightmare on Elm Street reboot uh, will be James Cameron. James Cameron, if you're watching this, I bet you might choose Jim Carrey to play as Freddy Krueger. As it is, because back then, when I heard about Beetlejuice, and people were talking about, oh, Michael Keaton is gonna play Batman. And says, what the heck, Michael Keaton playing Batman? He's Beetlejuice. And then as Michael Keaton plays Batman, he made a really great Batman. So with the Nightmare on Elm Street thing, Jim Carrey, most likely Jim Carrey might play Freddy Krueger, but after all, it might be ethnics wiping the Thompsons. Nancy Thompson and might be Asian or something like that. Might just call a bunch of Japanese Americans living on Elm Street, and probably Freddy might be an army brat, right? So let's get it done, get it over with, like other Hollywood remakes. Sometimes these remakes, they're filmed them in Canada. Maybe that new Elm Street might be filmed in Canada. Jim Carrey as Freddy Krueger. I mean, Ken Watanabe would be Donald Yamaguchi, and then you have Nancy Yamaguchi. The main roles of the Nightmare on Elm Street series. If they ethnic swap, yeah, that might happen. But then after all, am I seeing this? I would love to see how would Jim Carrey plays a role as Freddy Krueger, if James Cameron were to direct the new Nightmare on Elm Street series, then I bet Jim Carrey would make a really good Freddy Krueger. And I don't know if he's just comparing it with Robert Englund's Freddy. Jim Carrey's Freddy might probably give it a notch to equal to Heath Ledger's Joker. He might be the Heath Ledger's Joker of Freddy Krueger's for Jim Carrey playing Freddy Krueger. And maybe Freddy might be an army brat, right? So how it is with Freddy be an army brat? Then, like the original, Amanda Krueger was, Freddy Krueger's mother from the 1984 to 1991 Nightmare on Elm Street series. Then Amanda Krueger might be Freddy's daughter. And that will be played by no other than the Dark Angel herself. I know this TV series called Dark Angel. Jessica Alba. Can you imagine that? Jessica Alba as Amanda Krueger, but Amanda Krueger this time would be Freddy's daughter in the following sequels. But it's the same thing. The only thing, the difference is that Freddy Krueger's an army brat and Jessica Alba plays Freddy's daughter. All right, so that would be. What do you think about Freddy Krueger be played by Jim Carrey and having this guy James Cameron doing the Nightmare on Elm Street series, all 5 of them or something like that, all 6 of them, right? So, for a matter of fact, during this Halloween, James Bond, right, the original, the best, the one and only legit James Bond, the real James Bond, is dead. He died on Halloween. Sean Connery, the guy who played James Bond, died at 90 years old on his sleep in his bed in the Bahamas. He was 90 years old. So I was thinking one of the James Bond movie. One of my favorites is You Only Live Twice. Is one of my favorites. And you have Goldfinger, Dr. No. From Russia with Love. Diamonds Are Forever. Never. And the one of the only original. One of the only James Bond films that came out in the same year where the original producers came with Roger Moore playing James Bond. Never Say Never Again was played by Sean Connery as James Bond again, even though the original James Bond, the guy who played James Bond, is dead now. So, what do you think of James Bond? What do you think of all the Sean Connery James Bond movies? He will be missed. Those movies are classic. Is Goldfinger your favorite, or what's your favorite Sean Connery films? Or what do you think about Jim Carrey playing Freddy Krueger? That would be the hot topic. But same thing what people think about Michael Keaton playing Batman, but Jim Carrey as Freddy Krueger. Jim Carrey as Freddy Krueger might just wow people because he did the Grinch. He played at a Batman movie. He played the Riddler, but Jim Carrey as Freddy Krueger. James Cameron taking the Nightmare on Elm Street franchise, all of them. Then what do you think? Please write me a comment below, and then please tell me about what's your favorite James Bond film with Sean Connery in it. Sean Connery passes away. He's the original James Bond. And please don't forget to hit the bell button and subscribe. And I want to tell me, what do you think about Jim Carrey as Freddy Krueger, or what do you think, which one is the best James Bond film? We all know that Sean Connery's the original James Bond, the ones with Sean Connery. It's like saying Robert Englund's Freddy Krueger and Sean Connery's James Bond. But yeah, just tell me about Jim Carrey as Freddy Krueger, or which one is your favorite Sean Connery James Bond film. If you have a non-Bond film with Sean Connery, Hunt for Red October, one of my Connery films that I seen when at the day of Sean Connery's death is it is called The Extraordinary Gentleman. The League of Extraordinary Gentlemen. The League of Extraordinary Gentlemen was the right movie to watch during Halloween because it has Dracula, it has the Invisible Man, Jekyll and Hyde, and all these Hollywood monsters in the League. Because that's one of the Sean Connery movies. Even though he died on Halloween, please subscribe, hit the bell button, and stay tuned for more videos on Embargo Man, because I might just tell another subject about, there's more interesting subjects, even though I'm looking forward to one of the other subjects about Smarties and M&M's coming pretty soon to Embargo Man. If one company from South Korea buys Mars, alright, and what is the fate for M&M's in Japan if a South Korean company buys Mars and Nestle introduced Smarties in Japan? So take care, goodbye, stay tuned, and please subscribe to Embargo Man, because I need more subscribers, because I need to monetize my videos. Goodbye, folks.